Okay, so check it. I open up my Threads app and I see this post from content creator Candria. She says, "Oh no, Block Inc.'s stock is on a downslide. Was it something I said?" Now, she has over 500 comments on this post, and she was sharing this post from that autistic atheist. Now, at the time, I didn't know what Block Inc. was, but I can see a dramatic drop. This looks like that looks quite dramatic. So I'm like, what is going on? It definitely piqued my interest. Okay, I had to put on my fake glasses for this. Block Inc., what it is, how it works, products and services. In 2009, entrepreneurs Jack Dorsey and Jim McElvey created Square Inc., fulfilling their dream of creating technology capable of aggregating merchant services and mobile payments into a single, easy-to-use service. Less than a decade later, millions of small businesses use Square to accept credit card payments, track sales, inventory. Okay, cool. So they are the owner of Square. And Jack Dorsey, I'm like, I recognize that name. Why do I recognize that name? I knew I recognized that name. He's the one that co-founded Twitter and the one that broke off and founded Blue Sky. So that's who that is. But he's also the co-founder and principal executive officer and chairman of Block Inc., developer of the Square financial services platform. Okay, so that's Jack Dorsey. Now that I know who Block Inc. is, I go back to Keandria's page to try to figure out what she's doing and why she is taking them down or trying to. So she says, this was 2 days ago, "I've been disgusted watching a white woman raise $1 million after calling a black kid the N-word, but I didn't want to cyberbully. I wanted to take action. I opened the site, dug in the HTML source code, and read through the scripts line by line. I'm a web developer. I knew what to look for. I found keywords, traced the checkout flow, and confirmed the processor, Block Inc. Now we can file complaints to cut off funding at the source. I keep telling y'all, stop playing with black women in tech." She continues, "This didn't even take me that long, honestly. Once I realized what I needed to do, I've been coding for so long, it was actually pretty simple. I wish I thought to do it sooner." And by now, you've probably already heard this story. This racist white woman called this autistic 5-year-old boy the N-word and accused him of stealing. So the racist woman, after going viral, she set herself up an online fundraiser. She's raised over $600,000. The woman, who identified herself as Shiloh Hendricks, has now increased her fundraising goal to $1 million on Give, Send, Go, a Christian-based crowdfunding site. So Christian-based crowdfunding site is hosting a woman that said these racial slurs to a 5-year-old boy. Hendricks was caught on camera hurling racial slurs at the 5-year-old boy in a now viral video at a park in Rochester. She claims the 5-year-old stole items from her son's diaper bag. Regarding the slurs, she wrote on her fundraiser, "I called the kid out for what he was." So she's completely unapologetic. She doubled down on it. This is what she believes of this 5-year-old boy. And like I said, she's raised over $600,000. It looks like it's inching towards $700,000. This is when I took the screenshot. Okay, back to Keandria. She says, "We're not asking, we're reporting. File a complaint here." And she says to file a complaint with Square. She said this 2 days ago. She also said 2 days ago, Give, Send, Go is known for hosting campaigns banned elsewhere. Kyle Rittenhouse, the January 6 rioters, and now this. Hate is big business for them, this Christian company. Now still 2 days ago, Keandria says Block Inc. is now trending. Y'all, did we start a whole boycott? I've seen dozens of posts today saying that they are leaving Square and an equal amount of people saying they're deleting their Cash App. Both are owned by this company. We are really making a difference. Keep it up. Okay, and then this person says businesses owned by Square or Block Inc. Cash App, Afterpay, Verse Technologies, Eloquent Labs, Third Party Trade, Weebly, Zesty, Dessa, Credit Karma Tax, Tidal, Stitch Labs, ClearPay. And then at the bottom, and Blue Sky. But I already saw that when I was looking up who Jack Dorsey was. Okay, then yesterday, Keandria says, here's why this matters. Block Inc., Square, and its partners, Cash App and Afterpay, claim to ban hate speech, but they're still processing payments for a fundraiser that rewards someone for calling a black child the N-word. Meanwhile, countless creators and customers have had their accounts frozen, funds delayed, or access denied for far less. And then Mama Air BS says, I effing love this. And as a small business owner, if Square doesn't stop this madness, I'm no longer using their services to run credit cards. I can be done so easily. I don't support any person or company with racist values. Now she's hollering at people. She says, let me say this louder for the people who don't know the law. Free speech isn't protected when it's monetized. Yes, you can say what you want, but the minute you start making money off of it, there are laws to hold you accountable. Shiloh Hendricks didn't just say a word. She repeatedly and aggressively targeted a black child with racial slurs. That's not free speech. That's harassment. That's child abuse. And yes, there are laws against profiting from it. And I'm guessing racist people are in her comments pushing back on the notion that they should be targeting her fundraising goal, because this person who is obviously anonymous saying that's not child abuse, LOL. So he's like, why are you coming here spouting this BS? Now, yesterday still, she says, GiveSendGo and Square are scrambling right now to set up new systems and payment structures since we went after Block. Ah, that's cute, but we're going to find that one too, Pooh. And then she says, look at y'all trying to outsmart us. You can't finesse a finesser, baby. All right, so she's still like doing her tech stuff or whatever. So Keandria has been posting about this for 2 days, and a white woman content creator came and took her post and put it on her page word for word, except that it was Keandria's doing. So this is where this post comes from. She says, I cracked the HTML web code to expose the payment processor funding the racist campaign that is rewarding a white woman for calling a black child the N-word. Within 24 hours, white creators were reposting the movement, but leaving out the black woman who started it. That is not allyship. That is performative. That is colonizing. That is exactly how white supremacy works, and it's maddening. Call that out when you see it. You cannot expect leadership, hard work, and silence at the same time. So white people are coming in, colonizing her hard work, and acting like they're doing something. But like she says, she's calling it out for what it is, colonizing. Then she says, hey, white girl, pay attention. Black women aren't just fighting. We're being erased while we do it. You see us organizing, exposing systems, calling out hate, and yet somehow when the story gets told, we're left out. Again, you don't see anything suspicious about that. Your silence is part of that erasure. If you consider yourself an ally, it's time to prove it. Speak up, call them out, name the problem, stay loud. Okay, we're now calling people out. Now, let's move on to what is going on today. Here we are today. My fellow coders and tech geeks have been consistently monitoring GiveSendGo, and someone shared another screenshot with me last night. He was reading through code and found evidence that they were connecting the payment processor Stripe, so I guess that's next. We'll do more research today to confirm. There was a brief period during the night where payments on the site were disabled, then enabled again. I figured this was exactly why. I told y'all they were scrambling. Disabling the payments and enabling them again in the middle of the night was a dead giveaway. They are trying to be sneaky while they change platforms. They did it in the middle of the night so they wouldn't lose a lot of donors while people were sleeping. Okay, she says, just to clarify, switching payment processors is not a win. All of the money that has been donated so far is still stuck on their previous platform, Block Inc. At best, she will have to fight Square Inc. or Block for her payout. She can raise new funds, but if they swapped payment processors in the middle of the campaign, let's stay on their butts so that $600,000 can remain in limbo. And so now she's right here talking about, oh no, Block Inc. stock is on the downslide. Was this something I said? And so that is where I first saw it, like right here. And that's when I started doing all of the digging to get to this point. Black Press picked up the story and she says, thank you, Black Press, for helping amplify this message. Racism doesn't just survive on ignorance, it survives on funding. We're not just talking, we're cutting off the pipeline. I appreciate this platform for being intentional in centering Black women in the narrative and spreading the word. This is the type of news outlet we should be following. And here's Keandria Damone, the woman holding racism profiteers accountable online. So here is the woman that is sitting up here doing this smart stuff and doing tech stuff. And here's the racist who has raised almost $700,000 so far for calling a child the N-word. Okay, we're all caught up now. Let's see where this goes.
Okay, so I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I have been so bothered by this. When I say I have been disgusted by this, there was this white woman named Shiloh Hendricks who called a black baby the N-word. And then when she was exposed, she went on to raise, I think it's at $1 million now. She has raised $1 million on this crowdfunding page for calling a black kid the N-word, right? I was so bothered by that, and everybody's like, what can we do? What can we do? Y'all know me for cyberbullying people, but that was not going to be enough. So I'm going to tell y'all what I did, okay? I've been thinking, I've been strategizing, I've been doing a little sleuthing, right? So what I thought about as a business owner, what do I want to hit? Do I want to hit her or do I want to hit the money? So I thought about that. So I started searching and trying to figure out how can I find this funding source. I'm a business owner, I own a retail store, so I know there is a funding source. There's a pipeline somewhere, right? Give, Send, Go is the platform she uses, but they are not the bank. So I thought, like, we got to find a bank. And most banks are not going to want to be attached to something like that, right? Like most banks, especially payment processors, they will cut that shit off with any type of doubt or controversy. They'll usually just cut it off, right? So what I did, I used to be a web developer, so I know how to code and I know how to read code. So I went and I broke down the code on Give, Send, Go's checkout page line for line, and there were keywords I wanted to look for, right? So I looked for the keywords and I started looking through the keywords and I found the keyword Block Inc., right? That's familiar, right? Block Inc. is the parent company of Square. So I went and I did my researching and it turns out, yeah, that's their payment processor. So I'm going to attach and I'm going to share ways we can contact both Block Inc. and Square. So we want to hit both of them so they can't ignore us, right? But there is a process to report stuff like that. And I don't know if they just didn't think we'd find it out. But yeah, bitch, we found it out. So I'm going to share how y'all can report. Stop reporting to Give, Send, Go. They don't give a fuck. They supported Kyle Rittenhouse, the January 6th rioters. That is literally what they do. That platform thrives off hate. So we don't want to hit them. We want to hit the money. And see, Give, Send, Go is a for-profit company and they pretty much can do what they want to do. But when it comes to banking and payment processing in this country, we do actually have laws and regulations surrounding that. So any type of bank or payment processor has to have a clear-cut policy that prevents them from funding hateful things like that. So yes, Block and Square both have policies that prohibit the use of their platform for glorifying or amplifying or profiting off of harassment, illegal activities, racism, and yes, hate speech. So she has violated their policy by even having that campaign. I'm telling y'all, stop playing with black women in business and stop playing with black women in tech, because I know good and fucking well y'all didn't think we were going to look into that.